How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite fishing podcast. Still not too sure how we're going to go about saying this, but welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Scales and Tails, episode 203 today. We're recording this tonight, so that's why I always say tonight if you guys ever are curious about that. But we were joined by a guy that I grew up watching on the YouTube. Maybe you guys did as well. Kind of funny watching this guy because I'm 2,000 miles away from saltwater, and his content is a lot of saltwater stuff. So it was always interesting because I would watch your chant or I'd watch your videos and I would have no idea what you were talking about. You'd catch fish and I'd have no idea what they were. I thought they'd be the coolest fish ever. I think one video you caught a huge Jack Crevalle. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Jack Kerbal.
Yeah, you caught like a massive one of those, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. And you were just like, yeah, I don't like people catch these, or maybe it was like an amberjack. I don't know, maybe it's the same thing. You caught like a massive fish, and
Is
and I was like, that is crazy. And you were just kind of like, eh. And I've seen other guys just catch them and like purposely pop them off their hooks and stuff. And I'm like, that is insane. You would never hook a fish that big up here, let alone a fish like that to dog you. I was like, this is crazy. And these guys just kind of brush them off as a rough fish. And you were like holding this massive fish on the deck of your boat. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. That's like one video that has always stuck out to me. It's probably been maybe like 5 or 6 years since that video came out, if I remember correctly. But yeah, dude. Lawson Lindsey, all the way down there in Florida. If you guys aren't familiar with the name or his videos, super cool stuff. And now you're kind of moving into like some swim bait stuff in the salt brackish water, making your own stuff, fishing other stuff, and that is super cool too. So I'm super excited to pick your brain about that. But give us a little intro on who Lawson is before we get into it, and then I've got a couple icebreaker questions for you too.
okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm down in Florida. I've lived in South Florida my entire life, like born and raised. My dad grew up in Florida, so just like classic Florida man, basically lifestyle of like grew up fishing, hunting, like alligator hunting, stuff like that. But I've actually become a lot more like people who do know me and watch my stuff. Like I'm really big on catch and release and just like sports fishing. Like I love fishing for bass. I just happen to make a lot of saltwater content. And what's funny is that's why like you were saying you're throwing glide baits and swim baits in saltwater. It's because like I want to be bass fishing a lot of the
Yeah, yeah.
times, but that's like the closest bass lake to me is Lake Okeechobee,
Mm,
and that's like kind of a pain to fish to be honest. And the next ones are like an hour and 30 minutes away, but I have a saltwater river 10 minutes away and
right.
another saltwater place like all over. And so like grew up the opposite of most people where saltwater fishing was actually like the convenience
Mm,
and bass fishing for me was like the fun thing that I like to go do. Like, don't get me wrong, I love fishing
yeah.
saltwater. It's like the best, but I'm different in the way where, people I'm sure like is bass fishermen, you're like, oh man, I'd love to, go catch some tarpon or this or that. I'm like, dude, I just want to go catch some largemouth.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what's fun is that it's bled into how I fish for saltwater fish, and I actually feel like I fish a lot differently than a lot of people. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But
Right.
I fish differently in saltwater pretty often because I am really like immersed in bass fishing world. Like that's the type of content I consume. Like I don't
Mm.
watch saltwater content or videos. I watch literally like Marshall, like homeless fishermen.
Yeah.
I watch Jeff and I watch
And
your
probably
stuff, and
Matt and
like that's
Matt
like the
from
content I
SB. And
like.
yeah, yeah. That's
Oh yeah, well, Matt's like one of my
yeah,
best
yeah.
friends.
I was waiting for you to say it, so I'm like, I'll just throw it in there if he doesn't get to there.
Yeah,
But
thanks.
man, that's crazy that because the stereotypical thing is the saltwater guys, oh, bass are lame. These guys are freaking out
Yeah,
over a little 5 pound fish that I could winch in with my Win what 7,000 size spinning reel or whatever
yeah.
else it may be. So it's interesting to hear your take on that. It's kind of I don't know about like refreshing. That might be a little too beat, but it's like it's I don't know. It's cool to hear. It's cool to hear a saltwater guy who gets catches
Well,
these big fish. It's like kind of admirable to the bass fishing scene like that.
I think the big misconception, especially in Florida, because you've been to Florida before a few times, right?
So
Like
I
a
grew up in
lot of the
Alabama for
guys.
7 years, so I kind of am familiar with saltwater,
Oh,
but not too
okay.
much.
Okay. Well, the thing about Florida, like so many people saltwater fish, and there's a ton of people who bass fish as well, obviously, because there's so many good lakes down here. But the saltwater guys, their experience with largemouth are catching them out of a neighborhood pond
Mm,
or a canal or whatever. And they're like, why bass fishing so easy? It's so lame. You just throw anything out there and they'll eat it. And you just reel them in. And, it's most of their experiences. They grab their light spinning rod, which is like
Yeah.
a 4,000,
Yeah.
which you guys would never, ever pick one up
Mhm.
for, bass fishing. But that's like, a saltwater guy's light spinning rod. They go out and they throw a X wrap in a pond and they catch a 5 pounder out of a pond. They're like, well, bass fishing's too easy. Or
Yeah.
this isn't that interesting. It's like, dude, no, that's not what real bass fishing is.
Mhm.
And even for me, I remember having like a super humbling moment when I was like probably 18 or 19, like growing up, like I said, like fishing ponds, doing the canal, like tons of land-based bass stuff. And like, you'd go out and catch a 6 pounder, a 7 pounder, and it would be like, nice, that's a good one out of a pond or a canal, whatever, here in Florida. And then like entering a bass tournament with a buddy and just getting absolutely beat freaking down of
Yeah.
like, we came back to the ramp with 12 pounds and we were fishing Lake Istapoga up in Central Florida. And the guys there, like he said it in a nice way. He was basically like, I wouldn't bother weighing them unless you just really feel like doing it. Because like the winning bag was 34 pounds. And we had caught 12 pounds. And like literally me and my buddy, like, dude, we're gonna crush it. Like we always catch big fish. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you just your opinion or like your thought of like what largemouth are gets super skewed because Florida does grow 10 pounders in little neighborhood ponds or whatever. And so I think that's the problem is that like a lot of the saltwater guys haven't actually gone bass fishing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because the same thing happens with just Southern guys in general in the bass fishing scene, and they see Northern guy post up a 5 pound fish, and they're like, "Oh, that's not even that big of a fish." I catch 20 of those a trip on accident, and I don't I don't take pictures of it. And a funny story about that is Marshall came up here last year, and he caught. We were fishing this lake. He caught a pretty good fish, and he called me. Like I was across the lake, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I caught a pretty decent one," and he's like, "Oh yeah, pretty okay one," and I paddle over to him and he picks it up out of the net and I'm like, Marshall, that's like a 12 pounder, dude. What, or not a 12. That's like a, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I said 12 pounder. That's like a 6 pounder. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's a decent one.
I understand what you're getting at
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that's probably my biggest northern strain ever. And he weighs it, and it's like a 512 or something. And he's like, okay, that fish was a lot bigger than I thought it was. Like I didn't realize like how big these fish actually are relative to like what I'm used to in Texas. And he's like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And then I caught us almost a 6.5 pounder that day too. And he's like, that is insane. Like this is the craziest day of fishing I've had north of, that imaginary line of where big fish are big and the small fish are
Yeah.
small. So that was a cool experience to see a southern guy like catch a big northern strain fish and just kind of realize how special it was.
Because they're built different. First, I definitely watched that video because I
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
like my like guilty pleasure. I watch like every single one of Marshall's videos, like homeless fisherman.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a Patreon. I think he's the only person I'm subscribed to on Patreon. So
yeah.
is Marshall. But
Picture this: the sun rising over the mountains, your line gets tight, and the fight of a lifetime begins. Welcome to Lake Bacharach Lodge, Mexico's premier largemouth bass fishing lodge. Nestled in the heart of the Sierra Madre Mountains, Lake Bacharach Lodge offers world-class fishing, luxury accommodations, first-class hospitality, and expert guides who know where the grandes live. Whether you're chasing giants or kicking back after a day on the water with a frosty, cold, bottomless margarita, we've got you covered. Home to some of the biggest bass in the world, Lake Bacharach is truly an angler's paradise. Don't miss your shot at the bass of a lifetime. Book your trip now at www.lakebacharachlodge.com or call 806-316-8382 today. Lake Bacharach Lodge, truly the best in bass.
If you're listening to this podcast, it's safe to assume you're tossing big baits for trophy bass. You already know that treble hook changes are part of the game, but they don't always have to be a pain in the butt to do. Toit split ring pliers are hands down the easiest way to swap out treble hooks, especially on those beefy swim baits we all love. No more slipping, no more fighting your gear, just smooth, secure hook changes every time. Available in 3 fixed sizes in a full kit with interchangeable jaws that safely open up any size split ring. Toyota doesn't stop there. They offer a full lineup of precision tools designed with anglers in mind, including long and short nose pliers, scissors that cut cleanly on limp braid, and wire forming tools perfect for rigging those soft baits. So up your game with Toy, because when you're chasing giants, every detail matters. Check them out at toyfishing.com and be sure to use code SNT15 for 15% off your order. Again, that's toyfishing.com, TOIT fishing.com. And again, SNT15 for 15% off your order. Hey guys, I want to take a minute to introduce you to my friends over at snooksnacks.com, an online tackle shop built by fishermen for fishermen. The owners are die-hard anglers themselves, and they put a real focus on swim baits and glide baits, the kind that all of us trophy hunters rely on. Snook Snacks partners with many brands to produce exclusive swim baits in custom colorways that you simply can't find anywhere else. Their swim bait lineup in particular is carefully hand-picked for proven mass production baits to custom handcrafted swim baits, all of which flat out catch fish. Snook Snacks is always giving back to the community too, with regular giveaways on rods, reels, and high-end swim baits. And when you place an order, you'll get lightning fast shipping and customer service that's second to none. If you're ever not 100% satisfied with your order, they'll move mountains to make sure you're happy. And don't let the name fool you. Snook Snacks has gear for trophy anglers everywhere, whether you're chasing bass, muskie, stripers, or anything in between. If you're listening to this podcast, odds are you'll find something at Snook Snacks that earns a permanent spot in your lineup. So do yourself a favor and check them out at snooksnacks.com, and be sure to use code SNT10 to save 10% off. Make sure you guys also follow them on Instagram to stay in the loops of drops, deals, and giveaways.
Yeah, people don't put that into context. Like a perfect example is you mentioned him earlier, SB Fishing TV, like Matt Streichel, all the time. Like he's in Virginia, which Virginia is, not super, super far north, but it's, they're still catching northern strain, and he's catching, 8.5, 9 pounders. Like he's caught in a couple fish close to 10. And like I have to tell people, I'm like, that would be like someone down here catching a 14 pounder or 15 pounder. Like it's just like so huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. And once guys like get that experience and get that perspective, they're like, okay, this is crazy. And it's funny, if you guys are interested in watching that video, it's on Marshall's Patreon. That's the only place. It's on his and my Patreon. Those are the only places you can watch it because we kept that to ourselves because we were not posting about it. It was a crazy day, crazy day. But before it escapes my mind, we got to do these icebreakers, dude. I've recorded a couple episodes
Okay.
this week. None of them have actually gone up. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast, but the standard question is always, we'll ask this one first. You and I are going to go fish in the morning. We're going to go fish on the new boat you have. And we always gotta stop, get some snacks, throw some gas in your forerunner, throw some gas in the boat, whatever else it may be. Where are we stopping? Like, what's like the convenience store or gas station of choice for you? And what are we getting while we're there? Like the pre-trip essentials.
Okay. That is an awesome question. I love that. So it depends on where we're going. I
Mm.
basically have two gas stations that I will go to. One of them's in my hometown, and the other one's like 70 miles away. And I basically will, like, if I'm going north to fish, like I
Mhm.
stop at this gas station, and it's just a racetrack, but like a
Okay.
really
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
one. But the one at home is literally just a 7-Eleven, like
Mhm.
classic. And every single morning I go in there, get 2 bags of ice. I get 2 monster rehabs.
Mhm.
I like try not to drink like a ton of energy drinks, honestly, these days. But I drink monster rehabs when I bring them out in the boat. I get two um Gator lights, like basically like
Oh yeah, yeah.
electrolyte drinks,
Yep.
a couple bottles of water. I get the Duke's shorty sausages. If you've seen
Ooh,
those, they're
yeah,
like basically like a smoked sausage
yeah.
link. And then I'll get like 2 protein bars. And that's like
Okay.
if I know I'm gonna go out for like 14 hours. Because
Yeah, yeah.
most days now I don't go out for like a morning session. Like I'm gonna go for literally from 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. I'll come home.
Mm-hmm. What's the go-to protein bar?
Um Bear Bell, I think is what's called. Barbell, Bear Bell.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Have you this is just
Yeah.
a short little ramble here. Have you eaten the I think they're the mush bars. They're only about like yay big and there's only like 8 ingredients. Those things are pretty good. I'm a big fan of those.
Dude, are they the same people who do like the overnight oats?
I think so. It's like the same
It's
concept at
just like,
least.
yes, it's MUSH is like the
Yeah,
company or
yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
I've had the overnight oats. That is like one of my favorite things ever when I'll go on like short overnight trips. I'll buy like an 8 pack of those and put them in a
Mhm.
cooler, and that's what I'll eat for breakfast when I'm out fishing.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. I've seen the overnight oats thing. I don't know if that's my thing, but those bars are really good. It's like good pick
I
me
don't think
up.
there's many people out there eating overnight oats when they go fishing. It might just be me.
Uh,
I
all right, dude.
also apologize for my voice. I like literally woke up today and I was like, oh, of course I'm recording like maybe the second podcast I've ever been on ever, and I lost my voice today.
Dude, I thought I was gonna lose my voice yesterday because I'd been talking a lot the last couple nights on the shows and I chug some honey and some tea before bed, suck on some mints throughout the day and my voice box is ready to rip. So I got a couple more episodes throughout the week, so
Powered through.
hopefully we keep this up.
I'm I'm fighting it with tea in this and then a cold beer in this one. I
There
think
we
they're
go.
not really counteracting each other. I'm not really getting anywhere with it, but
What's the drink of choice tonight?
um this is a land shark, but don't buy Land Shark. Don't do it. I only got this because honestly, my dad gave me this case of
Mm,
beer. Land Shark, I did a sponsored video for them one time and they
mm.
didn't pay me.
What, dude? That is
Like
crazy.
I had a contract for them for several Instagram posts. This is like 4 years ago, 5 years ago now at this point. And they just I did all the posts and it was basically like after 3 posts, you're gonna receive payment. And they never paid me and then would never answer my phone calls, never answer any emails or anything like that. It was the
That's
most bizarre
crazy.
thing ever.
That's crazy. Land Shark, if you're
But the beer
listening to
is
this,
good.
you're gonna pay for that. You're getting negative publicity right now on the biggest bass fishing podcast out of the state of Michigan. So you guys are in for a rude awakening when this thing goes live.
You can tell real how real hurt I am by that I'm still drinking the
Still
beer
drinking.
anyways.
Oh man. Dude, next question or second icebreaker, I should say. All right, this is the new one. This is my new favorite one. This is like the go-to now. So, since you're into bass fishing, we'll use this as the premise. You know what the classic, like when these guys are weighing in on day one, they're in the back of their boats, they're in the baseball stadium or wherever, all the lights are dimmed down, and then they're like MLB style walk-up song plays while the truck drives in before they get up on stage. They're all waving and all that
Oh
stuff.
god.
What's your go-to? They're like, what's your go-to walk-up song if you were at the classic? What's the song that's playing when the big jumbotron says Lawson, Lindsey, day one, wait, yada yada yada, whatever, whatever.
Oh, that is such a hard question. I'm like a really, really big music person.
Hmm.
Like listen to music all the time. And I'm all over the place on what I listen to.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's hard because like I feel like that would need to be like a super hyped up
Yeah.
song.
Yep.
But like I don't like listen to like a ton of that stuff. Honestly, it would probably be like I'd do like System of a Down or Slipknot or
Okay.
something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
or something pumping
Something like
or
Enter
like a Foo
Sandman, like
Fighters.
Virginia Tech or something like something to get it
Yes,
going.
that would be a really good one. I'm literally now like pulling out my phone, like I'm just thinking, or it would just be something like literally I don't even know, Queen, like just something that gets the people going,
Yeah.
that gets
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
hyped up.
Yeah, that's the new go-to. And since nobody's actually heard any of these podcasts yet, everybody that I've asked has been caught off guard because they are not expecting that to be thrown in the questions because everybody knows the gas station question. So when I bring that one up, they're always like, "Oh my gosh, what do I want to say? I don't know what I want to say."
Truly something I've never thought about. I've never thought about what would be my walkout song to a bass fishing competition.
Whether it was like a classic or like I don't know if you're familiar with like the UFC, but all the UFC fighters have walkout
Oh yeah.
songs or MLB pitchers and stuff like that. And I was watching a UFC event the other day, and I'm like, that's a good question. Like, what I'm gonna like put these people on the spot and say like, what is gonna get you hyped when you walk out to go do something crazy in front of a huge crowd of people that want to see you
When
perform?
Lee Livesey walks out and it plays his legally mandated Whiskey Myers plays over the radio or
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh man. Yeah, I think that's a really good question. It really just kind of gets like I feel like that's a question that it not exposes, but it shows the type of person that you're talking to. Like that's a very personable question. Like, oh man, like what do I listen to that whether it describes me or it gets me going or like has sentimental value. Like I think that's just a really personable question.
I know what it is. I would choose Pinball Wizard by The
Oh,
Who. I don't know
dude,
if you
I
know
was
that
gonna
song or
I was
not.
gonna say that when you said Queen, I was gonna say, what about Pinball Wizard? How do you
Dude, that
think
that is what I would
was?
that I would choose. Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. Yes, that is what
Oh,
I
dude,
would
that'd
play.
be
It would make
perfect.
no sense. I remember like hearing that song and being like listening to the words and be like, what is this? Like, wait, what are they talking about? And like Googling, it's like it's a made up story about a mentally challenged kid who's really good at pinball. Like, cool. All right, I can get down with that.
Oh man. Yeah, it's so funny. I was gonna say that when you said Queen, but I was expecting to say it and you were gonna be like, what is he saying? Or like what is he mentioning right now? But it's
Yeah,
funny, we're
cool.
on the same brainwave, I think, after you just said that.
Yeah.
So getting into it, dude, you are, especially recently, like you had mentioned, you're doing kind of like the crazy cool bass fishing stuff, but you're doing it in the saltwater realm, which is, super cool. We just had a guy on the other day, Kevin from Snook Snacks, and he's, pretty much doing the same thing like with the spillways and that sort of thing. And
Mhm.
you just posted a video while we're recording this. It was 2 weeks ago with the Citizen, and you went out with the
Oh yeah.
Citizen in saltwater. that was crazy. I only got a couple minutes into it, but I'll just spoil it for
Well,
anybody. The
let me know.
first fish.
You didn't miss much.
Okay, okay. Well, that's what I was like. I read the title. I was like 3 days. I was like, if I was to make a video that says 3 days fishing, I was like, I probably got my butt kicked and I caught maybe I cooked like
Yes.
3 or 4 fish, and that was probably like the coolest thing that happened. I was like, I don't know, maybe Lawson just went out and just grinded an absolutely cinematic piece with 20 snook and a tarpon and whatever else it may be. I don't know. So now that you said that, I'll still finish the video, but I'm only a couple minutes in, and you were like, you pitched it, you pitched your citizen out there, you were burning it back in, and it was up on top of the water, and you were skimming it across, getting ready to go make the next cast, and that fish comes up and eats it. And you know, me personally, I'd have caught that, I'd have called that fish a catch just because it was like right there, and you were like kind of
Yeah.
scared that you were gonna break it off or whatever else it may be. Maybe not a catch, but it was really close to that. That is something that
I
is
got the most out of that fish.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like content that the guys up here or guys who are fishing the citizen always think in their head, or at least myself personally, oh my gosh, I bet you I could catch so many fish on saltwater. Like these bass are so stupid. I could probably catch all the cool fish in the ocean with these baits right here. And the fact that you did it and had some success, you had some eats, some hookups and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's cool, but it's also probably a humbling experience for a guy like me who's like, oh my gosh, like how is he not just cracking fish left and right in saltwater? Like that's mind blowing to some people, I assume.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, like I love the Citizen. I think it's one of my favorite baits ever.
Mhm.
Um, that being said, like, they're meant for largemouth. Like they get wrecked by saltwater fish just because a lot of saltwater fish will have teeth. They'll have really rough sandpaper. Like snook can, like in that video later on, I hook another fish on a Citizen that was about the same size as that one. And it literally like ate the Citizen. I reeled down and set the hook on it. And within, I don't even know, 3 seconds, it completely frayed through 50-pound fluorocarbon. Like they don't have teeth. Like they have gripping pads just like bass do, but they're just like 10x thicker and rougher.
Mhm.
And so a lot of the bass stuff was interesting about it because like you don't burn a ton of bass lures. Like
Mhm.
I'm sure you fished the Citizen to know, like you can't really
Yeah,
burn it really fast. It'll
right.
kind of, and that's what was happening in that video is like I saw this giant snook like close to a 40 incher, probably like 5 feet from my boat. And so I was burning my bait into trying to get it
Mm.
back to me. And so it was
Mhm.
just like skipping across the
Yeah.
top. But the thing is, like our bait fish mullet, that's like the most common bait fish we have where I'm fishing. That's what they do when they run away from predators. They
Mm.
skip across the top like that and
Mhm.
jump. And so it looks natural, even if it is kind of coming wonky
Yeah.
and sideways. But yeah, a lot of the bass stuff works really, really well. The swim bait stuff works specifically really good for snook and not a ton else, tarpon every once in a while. Unfortunately, the stuff that works really, really well for saltwater fish are like Demikis and Ned rigs and that type of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I haven't posted a video, but I literally just 2 days ago caught a really big snook on legitimately a Demiki rig. It was a finesse jig head on 20-pound fluoro with
Mhm.
a 6 cents waggle, I think it's called. It's like a
Oh, yeah,
four
yeah.
inch fluke that's literally like that. And I was just throwing it up by the mangroves and literally like reeling it like that across like you'd reel a Demiki, like your
Yeah.
freaking forward facing sonar, but I don't even have sonar or anything like that. Unfortunately, that stuff works really, really well.
Right. Dude, so this is while we're recording this is a couple days before this bait actually gets released or like teased.
Can I already guess what you're gonna say? The gutter toad? Is that what you're gonna
Yeah,
tell me?
yeah,
It's the
yeah, yeah,
gutter
yeah.
toad?
Yeah.
I watched some of the stuff with Mike Gilbert. I saw that and I was like, I would catch
Dude,
so
this
many big
you
snook on that.
you just described your mullet thing, what this bait does. Dude, this bait, oh my gosh. I feel bad because I don't not that I feel bad, but it's hard to not talk about it, but this is gonna come out after the fact, so it's okay. Dude, I've only fished with it twice because I don't get a lot of time to go out. Oh my gosh. I'll send you a video after this. It is such a fun bait. Like I'm fishing it in fresh water, skipping it under docks, skipping it way back into stuff. If you watch that video where Marshall was fishing the slither rig a couple weeks ago in that super grassy lake, this is the bait he
Yeah.
was skipping 30 yards back there, and I can only imagine you doing it, standing on your new boat, just pitching it back in the mangroves 30 feet and just
Oh,
boom,
dude,
like
that's
oh
like literally my favorite way to fish ever. It's just like skipping soft plastics
Yeah.
underneath docks. And that's why I like using the Citizen really because it just skips so
Mhm.
well.
So that's the
That's
6 inch
awesome.
guy. It's kind of hard because it's black, so it blends in. And then that's the
Yeah.
5 inch guy. And then there's a 4 inch guy as well. And so you could even put these on a jig head and or a Ned rig. Like you can do all sorts of stuff with it. I
Yeah.
just like
That's
fishing
gonna
it up on
be
top.
a that's gonna be a disgusting bait. Like that's gonna be
It is
insane.
so fun. It is such a fun bait. I got him a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, well, like a month ago. And every time I go out, I try to fish it, but now our water's starting to be a little too cold, so they don't swim exactly right. But yeah, when you describe the fish jumping out of the water, that's what you can do with this thing. Like you can just wag it like it's like a fish like a whopper plopper on a city retrieve, and then if you give it one hard like real jump, it'll jump out of the water like it'll like nose up like oh my God.
Dude,
With what you
that's
described,
disgusting.
if what you described, you'll be able to do some fun stuff with this bait. You'll probably hook a bunch of fish. I don't know. Those fish down there are full of piss and vinegar, so I don't know about maybe land them on a small like beast hook style bait, but it'll be a blast. You'll at least get a lot of blow ups. I don't know if that counts for very much. I'm sure on YouTube it does, but maybe not for the personal confidence. But man,
No,
it's a lot of fun.
blow-ups count for Instagram clips, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Instagram
Otherwise,
reels.
yeah, yeah.
No, but yeah, I
No,
had
that's
to
sweet.
had to bring that up. But anyway, yeah. So the Citizen, like I said, it's a bait that I fish quite a bit, and I always think like, man, it's a big boot tail bait. Like, you got like NLBNs that are kind of the same style, and I'm just like, man, I feel like I could catch a gajillion fish with this bait. But after watching your video or watching some of it, and you giving me some insider knowledge, it's like, okay, maybe it'd be a little bit more humbling than what I expect. And it's funny. We were just talking about how the saltwater guys kind of crap on the bass dudes. The bass guys say saltwater fishing is so easy. That's the best color right there. I think that's is that the blue or is it gray on top or like a silver?
It's like a light blue, like a
Yeah.
grayish blue.
So that's actually the color that I caught that 6.5 on with Marshall in that video.
Oh, nice.
Such a sweet color.
Yeah,
I love
well,
that color.
and like I said too, I think like you were saying, bass guys think that saltwater fishing is so easy,
Hmm.
and it's the exact same kind of conundrum of bass guys' experience with saltwater fishing is booking a charter and going offshore and bottom fishing with squid or
Yeah.
whatever and catching 100 snapper and or like going offshore and catching a bunch of bonita, like not really going out and catching game fish
Yeah.
or like fishing because like you can go like use bass fishing techniques and sport fish for redfish,
Yeah.
tarpon, snook, trout, like black drum, all those things. But saltwater fishing, a lot of times people just think of it as like going offshore, which
Mhm.
offshore fishing can be really, really easy at times. Sometimes it can be hard, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's the same thing as like I was saying, the Florida guys are like bass fishing is easy. I catch a 9 pounder in my mom's pond all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll say like I'm naive to think that saltwater fishing is easy, and my only saltwater experience is off a 3 Mile bridge in Pensacola, and then off of Corpus Christi, right there next to the battleship in Texas. Those are like the two times I've saltwater fished. I caught a red snapper in Texas, and I caught a bunch of pinfish and just whatever else, a bunch of bridge piling fish in Alabama when I was younger. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. If I knew what I was doing, or if I had a real setup, or if I like you said, if I had a fluke or something, I'd probably catch a whole bunch of fish. And
Yeah,
yeah, you might, but it's also relative to like you said, the same scenario as going out to somebody's farm pond or somebody's canal in their backyard and catching a 9 pounder. Like, yeah, it's kind of apples to oranges at that point in time.
for sure. I think every man comes to realization of that your 9 pounder out of the pond doesn't actually count as a PB.
All right. Yeah.
Like I've like as a teenager, I have caught bass that were probably close to 9 pounds, maybe pushing 10
Mhm.
out of ponds or whatever. And but now, like if someone asks me what's my PB, I say 712.
Yeah.
Like, I caught a 712, like because also it was actually weighed.
Hmm.
All these fish that I'm speculating that were close to 10 pounds was me being 15 and being like,
Yeah.
this is the biggest bass I've ever seen that I just caught out of this pond or whatever. Where it's like, no, I've weighed a 712 on a frog out of a lake. Like that's I'm gonna claim that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We got the receipts to back that one up with a scale weight.
Part of growing up, you put away the pond fish. You can still have fun with the pond fish, but you don't claim the pond fish.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So we were just talking before we got recording. The newest video you had posted while during the time of this recording, you got a new boat. Everybody was telling you not to sell your boat, so you didn't sell it. You traded, you bartered your boat away,
Yeah.
and you could go watch that video if you guys haven't. But what you got, the new boat to you, the new boat is. Like I said to you, that's something that I look at in the areas that I fish. Like up here on the Great Lakes, we have these huge like sand flats with rocks for smallmouth and stuff up in some of these
Oh,
bays.
dude.
And I've always thought that having a skiff boat like that, like a little like a 16-foot like Boston whaler or something with a big deck that you can do like put your cooler on and just where you can see 25 foot down and 70 yards out if you have the right like angle. Dude, that would be the most stealthiest way to fish for these things, and they would never know you're there. You don't have to do anything crazy. You're not in a bass boat or anything like that. I've always thought that was the way to go about catching like super big smallmouth, sight fishing them in some of these areas up here.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, the boat I got is a Gnu LT 25, and it is literally, imagine just the biggest canoe you can think of, and it has a center console and an outboard and a deck built into it.
Yeah.
It's like a Frankenstein thing, but they're really popular down here on the west coast of Florida, and then in certain parts of the East Coast. I'm actually on the East Coast, but they're really popular where there's a lot of backwater, and I just think they're really cool. Like, I wouldn't want to go run, across a giant bay or take it out of inlet. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally has, I think, like 10 inches above the water.
Mhm.
But your ability to go places like we were talking about, I think it was before recording, like you can take the boat to areas that only kayak and paddle boards could get to, and a boat couldn't. But you could also take it to places further than a kayak or a paddleboard is willing to go.
Yeah.
You can make that 8 mile run right from the ramp, and it could take a kayaker 5 hours to get there. And so they probably won't.
Yeah.
And so it lets you get into really interesting places. And one of my big things that I want to do with it is actually take it to some of these Florida lakes around here and use it to get into areas that probably a bass boat that weighs 4,000 pounds or whatever can't get into.
Mhm.
Something that has like, we have a lot of areas where you'll have these lakes that, Florida lakes are almost entirely flat. Like it'll be like an average depth of 5 feet across
Mhm.
this entire giant lake, but you'll have almost like, I call them like ponds basically set up in the lake where it might be like this giant cattail wall, and there's a tiny little like canal that goes
Yeah.
into it, and then it opens up into a pond back there. And a lot of these big giant boats probably can't get in there unless they feel like, being a tool and just blasting their
Yeah.
300 Merc right through it, which some of them do that for sure. But I think it's going to be really, really like dangerous and effective to use it to go get into some areas that bass boats aren't getting to, and throwing, big swim baits and stuff like that in those areas. Like, I'm super stoked on that.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so cool. It was really cool when you stood up on it when you guys were when you were taking it out to test drive and you were standing up on the front deck and you were kind of like jostling around and it was just like hardly not even moving and you're like, wow, this is a lot more sturdier than I was expecting. And I was expecting you to go, ass over kettle on the bottom of the deck, but you didn't like just nothing moved. There was hardly even a wave that got
No.
thrown from it. I was like I was blown
Mm-mm.
away, but it makes sense with how low it is and just kind of it's a little bit wider of a platform and stuff. I was like that was what sold me on it. When I saw it, I was like this is interesting, and then you started talking about it and you showed it, and I was like. Okay, I'm like sold on this style platform. This is even better than the Ultra Skiff that I had been thinking about prior to the video.
Yeah, they're cool too. And I've owned, I don't know, like really nice or two nicer, saltwater skiffs that, they're super high performance and this and that. Like, I've gotten to a point, like, I almost appreciate more having a boat that I can just beat the crap out of.
Yeah.
Like, it's more fun that way for me. I'm not worried about things. Like, I'm not like, oh no, I scratched my hole and now
Yeah.
like it's really like, I am all about efficiency these days when it comes to fishing and stuff like that. Like, I don't mean that in the way of like I have to figure out how to catch the fish as efficient as possible. I just mean like what is gonna have the least separation of me just
Mhm.
like going out and doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And for the Ginu is kind of like the equivalent of like a John boat in the bass boat world,
Mhm.
sort of like it's like, okay, I'm getting my aluminum boat, I'm throwing an engine on it, I'm gonna throw a trolling motor on it, and then you can go catch the crap out of fish
Mhm.
without having to have, a giant bass rig or a giant skiff, because
Yeah.
I've had the skiff and it's cool, but it every single inch of boat that you have, it makes things more complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that for sure. It also is pretty fitting for anybody who doesn't follow you on Instagram. You had been thinning the herd out of a lot of your gear that you don't use and stuff, kind of going more of that
Yeah.
minimalistic route, it sounds like. And it's funny because
Mm-hmm.
that's, that whether it was meant or not, that's what it seems like you did with the boat. You had a very, just from the videos, like a super big boat that you fished out of all the time and stuff, but you're kind of stepping back into more of a minimalistic, what is it, like 14 foot? Your new boat, 14-foot long.
It's 16, yeah,
Okay.
but it's 16, but it only has really it has a center console, it has a
Yep.
seat in the back, that's a live well underneath it, and then there's a front deck. But you're talking about like really you have, I don't know, 6, 7 feet of like fishable real estate. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's one of those things like over time of making fishing content for 9 plus years, I've collected so much gear. And I was kind of sitting there, I'm like, why do I have all this crap? Like, I'm not like gonna go tournament fishing.
Mhm.
Like, why do I need to have like a Corrado and a Tranks, and then I have a Calcutta, and then I have a Bates lineup of all the exact same reels that I don't ever use? And part of it too was I got rid of a ton of like my Shimano and Daiwa stuff. It's not that I don't like that gear, but I've gone through waves of like I'm not going to use as like making content. Like I've gone through waves of being like, I'm not going to use any gear unless a company's paying me.
Mhm.
Or it's like, I'm not going to use, like, I'm not going to promote gear, lesser gear, whatever. And then eventually I was like, I'm just going to use Shimano and Daiwa because it's like the best or whatever.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten to a point like, I don't care about that. They're not ever going to like care. Like, I've talked with Shimano before, but it's not like they are interested in hearing my ideas or this or that. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, I'd rather just support like a company like Bates,
Mhm.
who have a bunch of cool guys who are also supporting it, who are working with them. Like they reached out to me and asked if they could send me some stuff. Like, yeah, heck yeah. Like I'm going to use your stuff over Shimano, who I will never like really have a chance to do anything there. And I'd rather support like a growing company who seems
Yeah.
to really care than a giant, global
Yeah.
corporation.
Yeah. And I've heard some, this is just what I've heard through the grapevine, some people who have gotten reached out to by Shimano, and sometimes it's not always the most content creator friendly deal based off of like the kickback and stuff like that. So it makes
Oh,
sense.
no. And even for me, like, and I've gotten to a point now where like I don't take any of that stuff like very personal. It just
Right.
makes me laugh of the
Yeah.
companies that could afford to pay that could afford to pay content creators, like me, like yourself. They are the ones who are almost like completely unwilling to do it. It's like these big giant corporations, and Shimano's, I'm sure, like a hundreds of $1 million valued company, and I have across platforms, like over 200,000 followers. And it
Mhm.
doesn't really, not that I like doesn't matter, but they're like, you can get 50% off for rods. It's like cool, like sweet, like I'd rather pay money and support companies that I like want to support.
100%. Dude, if you had a bicycle channel that also bass fished, Shimano might be knocking at your door. If you guys aren't familiar, Shimano is huge in the bike scene as well as the fishing scene. Not some people don't know that.
I thought about this whole entire ploy. Like I love to exercise. Like I'm real big on
Yeah.
working out and stuff like that. Of like, okay, I need to be the guy, like the first dual Garmin athlete, get a fish finder, but also be sponsored by their watches, like
By
the
the
fitness
watches, yeah.
wearables, and and be like, this is my Garmin Live Scope, but also this is my Garmin Phoenix Solar watch.
Yeah,
Like
this is what I
just
watch my
double
heart.
down.
This is what I watch my heart palpitations when I watch fish on my Garmin Live Scope, miss my bait or something like
Yeah. Oh, it's just ripe for the picking. Hasn't worked out yet. I didn't get a watch. I naturally never wrote the email, but I thought that would be a very
Classic.
funny idea of like getting double sponsored by Garmin.
Yeah, double dipping on double dipping
Yeah.
on this guy only wants one brand deal, but he's gonna promote both of our fitness line and our fishing line. Like this, we have to do this, guys. We have nobody's offered this before, and we're pretty much stealing 50% of the winnings from this guy. Let's do it. That
I'm sure if I pitched that to a Garmin rep, they'd be like, "Yeah, get lost,
yeah.
idiot."
They'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, we'll think about it. Yeah, we'll reach back to you. Don't worry. Leave your name and number, and we'll lose it."
You hear the paper shredder going as I walk out the door. Yeah,
The bad idea, Ben. Um,
yeah,
that's so funny. So you've been doing YouTube for 9 years now. I thought it was a little bit longer than that, but you had mentioned it also in your video, so I knew before we got on the call tonight, so I didn't figure I'd ask you that right away. But when you first started, so 2016, somewhere in there.
yeah. It's probably 10 years. I think I started posting like I posted a video or two probably in like 2015, and then yeah, close
Okay.
to 10, I'd say.
Yeah, so we'll just ten's a nice even number for
Yeah,
easy whole number for me to say
yeah.
and think of. So 10 years of posting on YouTube is crazy. There's a lot of guys like Marshall who have been doing it for 5 6 years and people know who he is and stuff. But you look at guys who have been doing it for a really long time. Like Matt's been doing it for a long time. You've been doing it for a long time. Jeff's been doing it for a long time. And then you have obviously all of the big billboard guys like the Googans and everybody who does it. I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but it's funny that a lot of the bigger, huge guys who got into it a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit more mainstream faster, they still do it, but it's not to the extent of you guys who have been around. Maybe instead of that 10 years, maybe those other guys have been, we'll just say 12 years. So that 10-year class, you guys are still putting out videos, whether it's like a couple a month or one or two a week or whatever it comes down to. And those guys, like off the top of my head, a lot of those guys from 12 years ago who started up these other brands, they don't do anything. The only guys that I can, just name drop are John B. He's the only one that still really does YouTube, and then all of you guys still do it though. So it's kind of interesting to see, just kind of see how that all unfolds. I was checking some YouTube channels the other day. Marshall and I were on the phone, and I was like, "How many videos like do you think this guy's put out in the last 2 years?" And he'd spit out a number. I was like, "I'm counting six," and he's like, "That is crazy. I can't believe that. That's just how it happens." But I don't know. It's interesting to see. Like I said, it's just interesting to see you guys who have been doing it for that 10-year mark still keeping with it, keeping a good posting schedule, high quality content, and I don't know. I really appreciate that. I hope I would assume, and I hope other people do too. Like you guys have all stayed true to everything you've done over the course of YouTube, and I appreciate that. I don't know if means much coming from one guy, but I think I would speak for the masses that your guys' videos haven't swayed one way or another over the course of those years.
Yeah, no, that means a lot to me. That's really cool. I have constantly tried to get better at what I do. A lot of my attitude has changed about it. Like, and I've gone through ebbs and flows of
Mhm.
times where I'm like, truthfully, like, feel like an ungrateful little rodent being like, gosh, YouTube's so annoying. Like, this is sucks. Like, literally living like the dream job life,
Yeah.
getting like, could never imagine I would get to do this. And, but it goes through ebbs and flows. And, not to put words in anyone's mouth. For a lot of those guys, like I've gotten to know a lot of the guys who I theoretically imagine you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's for better or worse, like I'm sure they have made 100 times more money
Oh,
on
yeah,
through
yeah, yeah.
social media and stuff than I have. So, get the bag, whatever makes
Mhm.
you happy, I suppose. And I will say so many of those people, like not even the Guggen Squad guys, there's been other people I've met who have really, really tried hard to chase. I guess ultimately it's money they're chasing, but like chase growth, chase virality, chase
Mhm.
like this is what's trending. I'm gonna do this, like
Yeah.
trying to make that like really next viral video. And I just don't think that's sustainable. Like maybe from like an energy standpoint or from a following standpoint too. Like I can think of a dozen channels who I know have 10 times more subscribers than I do. Or I even think like a perfect example is Marshall and Jeff. Like I think Jeff has what close to 60K, maybe Marshall is like 30K, like right under
Yeah.
30K.
Yeah. Hmm.
and they pull great views like for their channel sizes. Like they really do. And like there's guys who have 1 million subscribers who don't get the consistent views that those guys do.
Yeah.
And I think that says something about basically one, keeping yourself accountable or holding yourself to values or whatever. Not to say that, those people are doing anything bad, but you know, when you try to like get these, like if I had a video that does really, really well and say like for me gets like 500,000 views, like that's great. That's really awesome. Like I'd be over the moon about it. Um, the next video, that doesn't mean the next video is going to get 100,000 views there. It's probably going to go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you chase that for so long of like trying to redo the next viral video. The next one has to get 1 million views. This one has to, like, I think eventually your engine for creativity just burns out and you start to lose fulfillment if you're not being fulfilled by something else. Like if you're not being fulfilled by the fact of like, no, I really love to go outside and go fish. And like if the video doesn't get, the views you're hoping, you're like devastated.
Yeah.
And I've gone through that period of time too, but I think a lot of those guys, like they tie up a ton of energy into that and eventually just you run out of fire for it.
Yeah, and I also think, excuse me, a big thing is like always that self-improvement thing. Like I can speak for Marshall because I've gone down there a film for him. We talk all the time about it's cringy or it's cheeseball as it sounds, like content creation and kind of what grabs people and stuff like that. And we spitball ideas and stuff, and he's always looking to not necessarily one up, but like how can I continuously grow each video to be a little bit better than itself? And I think from a content creator standpoint, like that's what guys, like you said, not chasing the money or chasing like the virality of a video, but more so how can I put more thought and like genuine passion into these videos where if they get 10,000 views, that's cool. And if they get 100,000 video or 100,000 views, that's cool. And I don't know. I just think just making a video and being genuine and just kind of making it to where it's like I'm fishing with you. I think that's the style of video I really like, whether it's over the top or whether it's just simple cut scenes. Like just that style of video is to me like that's a cool video. That's a passion project. That is a legitimate thing. You're not hyping up your day. You're not going to do this thing that you're not going to this big huge meetup or something like that you act like is part of your daily life or whatever else it may be.
Yeah.
It's like a common thing. I appreciate the videos like that. It's very genuine to see.
Yeah. Something I've realized, like my mindset on all of it has changed a lot. I think like if you were to look at my videos or my comments, like I've objectively probably gotten worse at fishing over the years. And it's not that I really haven't actually gotten worse. Like I still retain all the knowledge. I've been learning more, but I've realized that my job isn't necessarily to be the best fisherman. My job is to film
Yep.
fishing
Yeah,
and
yeah.
make a good story out of it. And I go through periods of time where I'm out fishing and I think to myself, oh, this would be a cool B-roll shot, or this would be a cool angle, or I should talk about this. And in my head, I go, I don't really feel like stopping to cast, or I don't feel like doing that. And then like literally I have to tell myself, like, no, your job is to do that.
Yeah.
Like the fishing is kind of what the story is about, but like, your job isn't necessarily to catch fish. And I love that you and Marshall are talking about that type of stuff because I think that's like so cool. It's funny because it's content creation. So you're like, I know it's corny or whatever, but like if you
Yeah.
had two buddies who are, really into the stock market or they were like stockbrokers and like, we're always talking about what's a good,
Yeah, yeah.
trend and blah, blah, blah. You would, well, you might be like, you guys are a bunch of dorks, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't like hate on them for it. You'd be like, yeah, they're just like invested in their job.
Mhm.
But yeah, like a really cheesy saying that I said to myself one day, I was like, the story has to be bigger than the fish.
Mm.
Like it just does.
Mhm.
Like what you're trying to convey has to be bigger than the fish, meaning like this entire video can't hang on the fact that if I were to catch a 7 pounder,
Mhm.
like you can't set yourself up for failure like that of basically being like, well, if I don't catch a big fish, I'm a loser and I suck. Like, and there's people who might viewers, I would say, who might be like, oh no, I think that's all that matters to me. And that's okay. And I think part of the reason, for better for worse, that doesn't matter as much. Like I think it's important to try to catch big fish. Like I always am trying to like do my best when I'm fishing.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to like say you wanted to see someone catch a big giant bass, would you do it by going to sit through and watch a full YouTube video, or would you just like go on Instagram
Yeah.
and look at reels, or go on
Yeah.
YouTube and look at shorts or whatever? So
Hmm.
like the people who want to see just like, no, I just want to see raw fishing action. I don't think they're barely watching YouTube videos anymore. I think
Right.
they're probably just sitting there
Yeah.
scrolling through shorts like a
Yep.
maniac. Like, well, this guy caught an 8 pounder. This guy caught a net. Like they're just doing that. And so for me, when I go out to film, like I try to tell myself, I'm like, okay, can this idea stand on its own legs if I don't catch a giant fish?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and a lot of times that to me is like the sign that it's a good idea. Like you're saying too, like chasing the viral thing. I think two of my best videos that I've had over the past like 2 years haven't been because I've both of them I've caught good fish in, but it wasn't like I had something unbelievably
Yeah.
insane happen. It was just like good stories. Like that was it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, Marshall is really sold on like the, oh man, I didn't catch any fish in this video. Like, he's very into like the fishing side of things and stuff. And so it was kind of cool when when I went down there and filmed for him, or even like when I talked to him on the phone. I'm like, dude, if you can, it helps a lot too. I think for guys who are like that, like very, I need to catch 4 fish per video oriented. If they have somebody come down there and film for them, and they get shots of them hooking the, like you do it, I know, like hooking the boat up, backing the boat in. Yeah, it sucks that you got to get up 45 minutes earlier so you can get all these shots and still be out on the water on time. But Caleb John's filmer, he was on the show a couple weeks ago, and even you just alluded to it too, like telling a story throughout the 18-minute video where you have an 18, it's kind of like in football. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the average NFL game has like 4.5 minutes of action, whereas an 18-minute fishing video, if there's 3.5, 4 minutes of fish catches and fish releases and fish in the frame, and then the rest is all just solid cuts. You talking to the camera, breaking down what you're doing, breaking down how you think these fish are setting up, explaining yourself, even though you might not have the product of the explanation to show for it. Maybe you only catch 1 or 2 fish. It still all makes the story worth it. Somebody's still going to watch that for what you put into it, the passion that you put into it. They might learn something, they might not. They might enjoy you catching 4 3-pounders, they might not. They still sat down and watched, like you said, they still sat down and watched a long form video that you planned, produced, put out. Like that, that means a lot, I think. And if somebody's going to sit down and do that,
Mm.
they at least expect it to be the standard quality of video you put out, whether there's fish in it or not.
Yeah, and I think the overall expectation from YouTube, like YouTube viewers, has gotten a lot higher, which I think has only helped me because like I thankfully I think one of the things like you talked about earlier, guys who have fallen out of it after doing it for a long time. I think a big part of it for me is that I have like fallen in love with the filming and editing side of it. Like I actually think I enjoyed that more. Like I enjoy the filming, editing, and social media side of it more now than probably the fishing itself. And I still love fishing. Like I really, really do. But like what gets me fired up is like if you said to me right now, what would you rather do? Like go out in the morning to my home river and go just try to catch a 40-inch snook, or it's like let's think of a really cool idea of a 1 day trip where we're gonna send it and we're gonna go chase redfish in an interesting way. Like
Mm.
I'm more interested in going to catch the smaller fish because it's interesting and there's a story to be told there. Where I don't think there's that much of a story to be told of just like going to your local place that you fish 5,000 times. Like I don't know. But yeah, I think that's been a big thing that's helped me stay in it is that like I've learned to really like the filming and editing side of it, which I know a lot of guys don't. Like I get that.
Yeah. No, I can speak for myself too, especially after going and hanging out with Marshall. And I mean, people might, first off, people were so upset because nobody knew I was in Texas. I was in Texas for like 2 days and 10 hours. Like we were there, we filmed the whole time. We made 2 videos and we called it good. I can count on one hand. I made like 4 or 5 casts the whole trip, or the whole time I was there. Like I did not fish at all. I was there to be behind the camera, and like I knew I liked being behind the camera, taking videos and pictures and stuff, but like that trip, just like you had just mentioned, and getting to come home and like look through the pictures, look through the videos and stuff, I was like, wow, like I had just as much fun, maybe more fun than I would have if I was out there fishing. And now like people are always like post like your clips of you fishing and stuff, and I really don't fish that much just because I'm so eaten up with like the videos and the photos and everything like that. It's just become, like you said, my love of fishing is still there. That's why I want to catch it in the media format I go with the whole podcast and everything like that. But man, it's just filming something and having an idea, having a shot list in your mind, making these shots, and then going home and just making it just come to life essentially is just it's a very great feeling. And like you said, I know a lot of people dislike it, or I would even go as far to say is hate that part of the whole process. But for me, that's the most fun. That's like where I get to sit down and my creative energy gets to go into it. Like, okay, I got these shots. Like, what do I want to do with it? How do I want to portray a 6 minute video where I only catch one fish or I lose one fish? Like, how am I going to keep somebody locked into this video during this time period or timeline, I should say?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I find so much joy in the idea of capturing story and getting to share it with people. Like, and it feels bad too because I don't want to like sound, like a, I don't know, like, oh, I don't even care about fishing. Like, I really do. Like, I love it so much. But if I like, I should have rephrased what I said earlier about like going out. If you're like, you want to go out and fish for big snook, but we're not going to film, I'd probably be like, oh, like if I'm not filming, like I, it's not, I'm missing like the part of it for me, like the
Yeah, yep.
capturing part. The only time now I don't film when I fish is when I take out my son, or occasionally when I go with my dad, I won't film
Mhm.
and try to do that a good amount because that's just like good, clean hearted fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, I've mentioned it, but oh my gosh, we're both clearing our throats. It's just going
Yeah.
to be episode 203, 203, 20 minutes of throat clearing is going to be the title of this one. No, I will say the one thing whether it was you posted it on your Instagram story or maybe you just, I don't think you would just message me. I think you posted it on your story. It was like a Q&A that you would put up. This was a couple months ago, and somebody's like, like, what tips would you give to somebody who's getting into YouTube or something like that? And you said something, and I've referenced it, like I said, a couple times on the podcast now. If you can film a video, edit it, like if you can film yourself talking, fishing, if you can film your day of on the water, come home, edit it, and play it in your living room and watch it with your significant other, with your parents, with your kids, or with your friends, whoever else it may be that you're with. And if you don't get embarrassed, if you're excited to show them, if you don't have like any anxiety or whatever else it may be, and you're just happy to show them this experience you had on the water, like that's how you know it's a good video. That's how you know that you enjoy what you do. And yeah, you might feel silly, but as long as like you're sold on the idea and you have a good time doing it, then that's like the key to making a YouTube video, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Like, I remember when someone asked me that only because like I had a bunch of people who are like getting into content creation or do it repost that. Because truthfully, there was a period of time, and if I think about it, it was when I liked YouTube the least and I did not enjoy what I was doing for work. It was during that time, like if I was at my parents' house, like going to visit my parents with my wife, and at the time our we only had one kid, but like my mom would throw on one of my YouTube videos because my mom like literally number one fan.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
love her to death. She's such a great supporter. And she'd be like, oh, I want to watch your newest video. Like it would make my skin crawl. Like I'd be like, please, dear God, mom, don't put on my video. Don't do it. Like, oh, don't. And I sat there, it was all in retrospect. Like I sat there, I'm like, oh, it was because I was ashamed of the quality of work I was doing.
Yeah.
Like I was doing the bare minimum
Hmm.
at that time. And when you put a bare minimum effort into whether it's like your work, whether it's working out or, your home, your family, even if it's the easier option, like you eventually, if you just keep putting in the bare minimum, you're going to feel like crap and you're going to be unfulfilled and not be happy. And that's where I found myself. And I had a point where I almost quit YouTube altogether. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I thought it was a symptom of like, I did get burned by a couple of sponsors pretty badly, and I thought it was like all about that. And it turns out I think I just like wasn't giving an actual effort
Hmm.
and wasn't getting the results that I wanted because I wasn't actually trying very hard
Right.
and was allowing myself to like fall into a bad cycle with that.
When you first started, just that use that 10-year mark, you were a little bit younger. You were like kind of maybe right around high school, just out of high school, around that age. was it like I don't want to say embarrassing. Was it hard for you to make videos and for
Oh,
your friends to be like, "Oh, Lawson posted a YouTube video today. Let's watch it, guys," or just kind of like not make fun of
dude.
you, but poke at you for it? Like, was that a hard thing for you to
So
get over?
it was funny because yeah, I started posting YouTube videos when I was 20. I'm 30 now. So I just turned 30 a couple like a month ago, 2 months ago. Um, when I first started posting, people knew what YouTube was, but definitely didn't understand that you could make money on it or make a living on it. And I've told people before the hardest part about starting a YouTube channel or social media is that in the beginning, the only people who are going to see it are the people you know
Hmm.
close, are your friends or the people you went to high school with,
Yeah.
the people you went to church with. Like the people who you pretty much don't want to see your stuff are the only people who are going to
Mhm.
see it. And so I remember I would make a YouTube video and I would share it on my personal Facebook
Oh,
page and
yeah.
be like, hey guys, like I've been trying to make some videos of going out fishing, doing some snook fishing. Like I would love if you guys watched it. Like it would mean the world to me. Like, and it would literally make my skin crawl to do it. But I'm like, how is anybody going to see this?
Hmm.
And what's funny is like as the video started to do like kind of well, all of a sudden, like people who I was like friends with or who are like, closer with in high school would be like, oh, dude, I saw that video of you catching a fish. Like, that's so awesome. We got to get out and fish sometime. And then when my channel, and like, it was like guys who like I'm still friends with today.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when my channel started to like blow up,
Hmm.
this is in, 2016. And I had like whatever it was, like 10,000 subscribers. Like I remember I would show people I had 8,000 followers on Instagram in 2016. They'd be like, holy cow, how do you have
Yeah. Yeah.
like, um, but then all of a sudden it was like made me laugh because I would get messages and text messages from guys who I went to high school with who like I wasn't friends with.
Hmm.
They never talked to me, guys who were older than me who maybe had said one word to me my entire life
Yeah.
of like going to that school. And they'd be like, bro, I see you've been slaying them. Like, I want to get on the snook. Let's go. Let's go catch them. I'll be like, no, dude, get out of here. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
now that you see, like, I'm like doing well, now you're going to hit me up and like, let's go out and fish and this and that.
Yeah.
And so it definitely was early on hard. And one of the hardest parts was like, having to explain to people, mainly it would be like my parents or at the time, and it was a different girl that I'm married now, but like my girlfriend in high school, like her parents of like what I'm trying to do. Like, no, I promise I'm not this big giant loser with no
Yeah. Yeah.
ambition that like, no, I don't want to go to school. I want to do YouTube. I want to do the social media thing. And people would be like, what? Like, what are you wasting your life?
Yeah.
So it was definitely hard early on. Now it's so much more acceptable and people
Mhm.
see it and they're like, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got into not necessarily scales and tails, but another thing right around the same time. So I was, 14, 15, 16 years old at that time. And dude, like I had an Instagram page and, eighth grader coming into freshman year. I went to a pretty small school, so word got out and everybody knew about it. My chemistry teacher knew about it. My Gov and Econ teacher knew about it. Like everybody knew about it. Everybody not necessarily made fun, but they all had their jokes and whatnot. Like it was
It's
all
how's that channel going,
yeah,
buddy?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. So it was
what
kind of
are you allowed to tell what you were posting?
oh yeah, it was just a personal fishing page, northern underscore Michigan underscore angler if people are about that.
And you were getting made fun of for that.
Yeah, but it was like you said, it was around that same time though. So people were like, "Why? Like, you have a fishing
Why are you
page?"
doing
Like,
this?
yeah, and it was at the time where I was making YouTube videos, but they weren't like I'll admit it. Even now, they weren't good. So like people were watching them and they thought it was funny and in like my posts and stuff. So it was always just like a slapstick comedy type of thing, like a nice short jab to get in on me when we were making
Yeah.
fun of each other or whatever else it may be. And I remember this person wrote in my yearbook, senior year. She was like, she's like, I don't know what you're gonna do in life, but I know that it's gonna be in the fishing world. And I was like, this girl has no idea how like crazy the fishing world is. Like, there is no way.
That's
And
all
then
I needed.
yeah, yeah, and then a couple of years later, we went somewhere and she was there and she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, I cannot believe how big that this thing has gotten." Like I remember saying that to you, but it was just kind of like a words of encouragement. I knew that's what you wanted to do, but I didn't know that like people could make a living in that or whatever else it may be. And so now that government econ teacher or that chemistry teacher, I mean, I still talk to all my teachers and they're like I cannot believe that you like stuck through it. You went a couple different ways. You're not no longer on that personal page and stuff, but now you're doing this thing that people all around the world watch or listen to or read, and they're like, that's crazy. Like that's we never expected this kid from this class of 23 kids and this K through 12 400 person school to be this thing in the fishing world like that. They were like, we always just thought it was a funny thing that you did. We thought you'd go off to college and forget about fishing, but here you are, 10 years later and you're still doing it. Like it's like you said, it's cool, but then you also have those people that were like actually mean about it and stuff, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing that. Like maybe, you should give me one of those baits. Like I think I could catch fish on it." It's like I don't know, dude. Like send them a link to Tackle Warehouse where they can buy one. Like here you go. This is where you get it. Like it's just
Yeah,
funny how it works out
good.
like that.
That's so funny. I also went to a very, very small school. I had 31 people in my graduating class. But so you got me beat.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny, man.
but yeah, it is funny how it goes full circle. I didn't even mention you saying that I last year I ended up going back to my high school or my school. It was a K through 12
Mhm.
school as well. And they asked me to come and speak on a
Mm,
panel for
yep.
like their assembly at the school about social media and stuff like that. And it was like the funniest thing in the world. Like my wife came to watch, and she there's four of us there, and our panel was supposed to be about basically like I don't even know, like the social arts or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was a girl who's a photographer, a guy who was some type of like copyright editor,
Oh,
basically,
yeah,
and then
yep, yep.
a woman who was an author, and then it was me, and I was the last person, and we're sitting in four chairs, and it starts, and they're literally like, the guy's like, I'm a copyright editor, so I create ads for businesses, and people are
And I have
like,
I have
kind
six
of
I have
clapping.
6,000 followers or something like that.
Well, no, he wasn't even on social media. He's like, I just, have an advertising
Oh,
agent company. That's what it
yeah, yeah.
was. And then the one lady's like, I'm an author. She was like a 6-year-old lady. He's like, I'm an author. My grandkids go to the school here. I wrote, this self-help book. And people are like, great. And then one girl's like, I'm a photographer. And she was really sweet. And like, oh, that's people are kind of like, that's cool. And I go, I'm a YouTuber. And I'm not kidding. It was like, I have like a bad like Disney Channel movie. Like I'm a YouTuber. And the entire assembly of like hundreds of kids just go, yeah! Like start screaming, going nuts. And like only like 10 kids there even knew who I was.
Yeah.
And it was like the funniest thing in the world to see them react that way of like literally like losing their minds.
That's
And it
so
was like
funny.
very funny to be there in front of like my old like high school teachers and
Yeah.
middle school teachers and stuff like that. And then afterwards, like literally, like I said, there's like 10 kids who are like, I've watched your videos, like I watch all your fishing videos. And then I had like 47 kids come up and be like, how many subscribers do you have? And I was like, go away.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's like the other thing is like people maybe who don't keep up with it and then they just kind of stumble upon your page or whatever else it may be. Like we were at a Christmas party last year, 2 years ago, and we were doing a white elephant thing and they're like, "Oh, we'll go." Nobody could decide who to go first. And they're like, "Oh, we'll just go by Instagram followers, person with the most followers." And everybody's going around and I'm like, "Oh, 4,000 some," and they just look and I was like, man, 4,000 really isn't that many. Like it's kind of crazy. And the person that was like, I have 1,100 and I thought I had the most. And then they were like, that's like a personal page. I'm like, no, it's like a fishing page. You have a fishing page with 4,000 followers? Like that's crazy. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess. And it's everybody used to make fun of me for it, but now look, I get to go first in white elephant. So look at me.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's funny how that stuff all plays out. And so much of it's just about like um consistency and also being able to keep with it. Like honestly, just being able to keep trudging along,
Mhm.
even when people are like making fun of you. That's a big part of it. Like I remember my first video I ever posted, not first video I ever posted, my first video that ever went like viral. I
Mhm.
had like 800 followers and I had a video get like 57,000 views in under a week. And I like there's some people like this is sick, and like I literally people like calling me the N word. Like I'm not even like it's like literally made no sense. Like just like people like literally commenting like slurs and this and
Yeah,
that on it, like being like you suck. And it was one of those things that's like this is so bizarre. Like
that's so
you kind of
crazy.
just got to get over that stuff, and yeah,
Yeah, it is what it is. That's insane. So you've taken. I can tell like just watching your old videos and watching now, like you have a very cinematic storytelling point to your videos now, and you've posted like when you post an Instagram story and you're like video in the next couple days or working on this video now, and it's your timeline. Do you use DaVinci? Is that what you use?
I use Adobe Premiere.
Oh, okay, okay. So, but anyway, you have your
Yeah.
timeline like all staggered out and stuff, and people just probably skip right through that. But I'm pretty nosy, so I look at it and I'm like, okay, like this is like legit. This is like something that if you know what you're looking at, like Lawson's putting in quite a bit of time, and then you watch the video, and yeah, people are like, oh, this audio is dubbed over this part of the video, like that's pretty cool, and it's like. Yeah, but if you like you looked at the timeline, like you know there's so much more to it. Like he's matching the
Oh,
audio with the text cuts and like all this other stuff, and it's like yeah, like it's cool to watch, but it's also cool that he puts this much time, like we mentioned earlier, into a 18-minute YouTube video that guys are gonna watch and be upset that there's only one fish eat in it or whatever
yeah.
else it may be. Like there's like a self I don't even know. You just make yourself happy putting in that much work into a video. And like you said, if you watch it and you're kind of stoked, the old saying is if you can watch one of your own like videos from beginning to end, it's a good video and you don't like get bored
Yeah.
or have to read or do something else to pass the time. Like that's a good video. And there's like these guys who do these YouTube videos now. I think a lot of people are really, really good at that storytelling thing. Whereas back in the day, it was all GoPro footage. It was a intro with the GoPro, outro with the GoPro, slapping the camera to close the video out. And now there's like
Yeah.
there's lots of dialogue. There's lots of there's not many tutorial videos out now, but there's a lot of information in these videos, tidbits of stuff. And it's just, YouTube is a different time now. And I don't know if, people probably just go with the trend so they don't really notice it. But I think the guys who consume a lot of it, consume it, and also maybe create it themselves, I think they notice that the tides are really changing in the YouTube fishing world.
You have to put effort in, like you just do. And, you know, whether that effort is meaning that it has to be this crazy high, high caliber edit, or maybe the effort is just like you yourself know how to be extremely personable and entertaining,
Hmm.
or the effort is in, like, I would say like Marshall. I know we've talked about him a ton, but it's just someone who, like, I know you know very well. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of his stuff, and I've talked to him a little bit here and there just through Instagram. But you know, he puts a lot of effort in, one, his fishing ability,
Hmm.
and two, I would say his lifestyle, like
Yeah.
his very interesting lifestyle. And I know it's like the whole like homeless, laid back. It's like it's not easy to do that. It's
Mm-mm.
not easy to live out of a van and to travel that much and to blow up a paddleboard. Like there's a lot of effort being put in, and effort makes things interesting. Like it's cool to watch people be good at something or try, you know?
Hmm.
And I think now there's so much competition on social media that you need to try, you
Hmm.
know, and whatever it is you're doing. Like it could be playing video games or, making fishing content, fitness
Yeah.
content. Like you have to give your best effort because people see so much, they can tell when someone's not.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I was listening to this podcast today, this business podcast, and the guy was talking about content creation, and he said whether you know it or not, your videos now are way better than they were 6 months ago. And if you think you're the only person getting better at this, you are terribly mistaken. He's like, everybody's stuff constantly gets better. So the fact, or when you get complacent with where you are and you're no longer trying to implement new things or like in our case, tell a story in these videos or whatever else it may be, like people can start to pick up on that when you start to essentially half-ass a video, like people can really start to tell if it's not necessarily the quality, but that there's not as much heart and soul into a video. People pick up on that fast.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think that's more of what it is, especially if you've already garnished or like gained a following. It's when the enthusiasm's not there, it's easy to tell. Like, early on, the effort might not be there just solely because of a lack of knowledge. And that's okay. Like, you got to learn, like, you got to start somewhere. But yeah, it's when it's a bummer for me. Like, I am a YouTube consumer. Like, I don't watch Netflix, I don't
Mhm.
watch Hulu. Like, I watch YouTube videos. Like, the only time I watch TV, traditional TV, is if my wife has something on and I'm
Mhm.
sitting next to her watching it.
Yeah.
And I've been watching YouTube since I was 12 years old, probably. And it's like, and I'm sure you know the feeling too. Like it's a bummer when there's someone who you've followed for such a long time and you see the quality drop off, or you see they don't care, or their channel becomes like I can think of so many guys I followed as a high schooler who now their channels are like reaction channels, and they
Hmm.
just like watch someone else's content and make fun of it. And you're like, gosh,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Hmm. Yeah, I am very sold. Marshall's huge on like the short form content. Marshall is very well versed in the short form stuff. I send him all my Instagram reels, and he constructively, criticismly tells me that they're terrible and that I need to be more jumpy and more hooking people and stuff like that. But the long form stuff is what I really enjoy doing. Like I've got a whole playlist of YouTube like doc style videos that I just that's my thing that I love watching on YouTube is document style videos, whether whatever it's about, it doesn't matter whether it's about speaking or crazy conspiracy theories, whatever it is, like something that somebody puts in 50 hours in on After Effects on Adobe and just put in so much work into it. That's like the stuff I really like. And so I understand watching videos what it takes to go into it. So I feel like a lot of guys who have that understand and they can really respect like I mentioned it earlier like really respect when somebody puts in a lot of time in like B-roll and stuff or just like over the top things that may get overlooked by a majority of people, but somebody knows that okay, there's going to be a couple people who do this thing that a similar thing that I do, and they're going to respect that I got this shot or I got this angle or transition or whatever else it may be.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Like yeah, dude. Don't want to keep you too much longer. I'm trying to think of something crazy. Is there any crazy trips that you have planned out that you might want to tease or that you're thinking about planning for an upcoming video or anything?
Um, yes, sort of. Well, yeah, I my goal going forward with the videos I make now is one, just be a lot more consistent posting. When I had kids, I basically fell off of being able to be consistent, and now they're both. I have a 4 year old and a 2 year old, and now they're getting old enough to be like a little easier to be away from home for a day or 2, 3 days, whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of my plans revolve around I want to do a lot of trips that are going to be 2 to 3 days of going to interesting locations to go
Mhm.
fish, things like that. I went to the Everglades 2 days ago and I almost died.
Ooh.
So it was literally like, not even kidding, like the scariest moment of my entire life. I got caught in a lightning storm so bad that I legitimately thought I was going to die. And I was
That's insane.
like six miles away from a boat ramp in the ski canoe. And I just had to lay down in the bottom of my boat underneath the mangroves and literally for like 30 minutes, like hammering down lightning and thunder around me, like so loud that my boat's like vibrating.
Yeah.
And like, it was legitimately the scariest moment of my entire life. So that'll be on next week. Um, but yeah, my plans going forward are big ideas, basically. Like
Mhm.
I've tried to get away from, it's hard because it's way easier, but it's complacent. Like I've tried to get away from just like, well, I'm gonna go fish today and see what happens, and I'll
Yeah.
just make a video out of it. Like I'm trying to have ideas when I go out for the day and film of like, this is the theme of today, or this is
Mhm.
the idea for today. And so I'll say I'm not gonna say specifics because I just mainly just don't want someone to take my
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
and watch it. I want to do some really big videos that are like traveling in Mosquito, like in my
Mhm.
microskip of like
Yeah.
3 day videos where I might travel 160 miles by boat in the
Mhm.
ski and go camp from island to island and like travel an entire river system
Mhm.
over the course of like a couple days
Yeah.
and do that in a few different locations.
That'd be sick. The video that
So
comes
that's
to
my plans.
mind is was it was last year, I think last fall, you guys went to the Keys for like a very short amount of time when you were trying to catch a
So that's
bonefish.
exactly, yeah.
That video or series, I can't remember what it is. That was everything. Chef's kiss, the cinematic,
Yeah.
the trials and tribulations you guys had on that trip. If you guys, I'll link it in the description so you guys can watch it. But that was an all-time great video in my opinion. So more stuff like that, man. I'm excited to see
Yeah.
it.
That's like my goal. That is probably the video I'm most proud of ever making and filming. And yeah, so the goal is videos like that where it's gonna be like one long video that might be an hour long, but it's covering like a 2, 3 day trip.
Mhm.
And so yeah, exactly what you're saying. That video too, ton of effort went into it, but the most rewarding thing about it, I only tell this to you because I know you're like a YouTube social media dork, is that I had a guy reach out to me and DM me who's like a YouTube strategist for literally like Mr. Beast and like those guys, like literally
Yeah.
like people with like millions and millions of subscribers being like, hey, watch your keys video, is really good.
That's
that
cool.
was I was like, sweet, like that's great.
That's
Thanks.
really cool. Yeah. Man, that's actually that's super cool. So most times when I'm wrapping up the episode, I have a guy or I have the guys go over their like their setups that we talk about throughout the show. And this was kind of unplanned to talk so much about the media stuff, but it's like something we are both so passionate about, and that's the podcast. I want to kind of get more and more into like the content creation side of things in the fishing scene. So instead of your rod setups, what is the camera setup and like what are the like you already said you use like the Adobe suites of editing and stuff, but like
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you use app wise, whether it's like for your notes and stuff like that? Like what's your camera setup, and then how do you make the whole content creation process a little bit smoother for yourself?
That's I love that. Yeah, it's a great idea. Great question. I use a Fujifilm XS10 is what this camera is. It's actually just sitting on my desk. It's
Which
actually like not crazy. This is a eight hundred
yeah,
dollar body, and
yep.
then like the lens is nicer, it's like a $1,500 lens. But this camera's like 5 years old at this point. I actually need to replace it, but
When
it's still kicking.
when you said that one day when I messaged you and you said Fuji, I'm like, okay, that explains his colors, but I thought for sure you were gonna say a Sony A7 IV FX30 or something like that. When you said Fuji, I was like, wow, this man is a breed of his own because there's not many Fuji guys out there if you guys aren't
Uh,
familiar.
I'll be self-facing about it. Like I'm a bit of a douchebag when it comes to like, oh, if that's what's popular, then I'm
Yeah,
not using that. Like
yeah,
it's like, oh, everyone uses a Sony, then I'm not
yeah.
using Sony.
Everybody uses an FX or a A7 III with a 70 to 200. I'm
Yes.
using a pancake lens and a Fuji. That's what I'm doing, guys.
I literally is the only lens I use. It's a 16 to 55.
Oh, that's
And
perfect.
I need a longer lens, but what I've learned is like you are only limited by your creativity
Yep.
basically.
Yeah.
Like if you I have a wide angle lens. So I do a bunch of really beautiful wide angle landscape shots.
Hmm.
Like I sit there and I look for like, oh, what's like a really cool landscape shot? Or because I have to shoot wide, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna set this camera up low, filming through the grass, and I'm gonna be standing in the the background or
Yeah.
whatever. You're forced to be creative, and you can do that stuff with GoPros too. Even if like your only budget is GoPros, like you can get creative and do interesting things with them. So yeah, Fujifilm, and then I have a GoPro Hero 12,
Mm.
and then I ordered actually a 360 camera today, like a
So
GoPro
sick.
360.
Yep.
And then audio wise, which content creation tip, like having good audio is like the most important thing, but it doesn't have to be like amazing. It just doesn't have like you just don't want it to be like
Mhm.
cracking or whatever.
Yeah.
Every single one of my videos is just the audio pulled off of my GoPro. Like I
Mm.
use it like it's a lab mic,
Yep.
and I have wind screens taped on top of the mic ports on
Mm.
my GoPro to cut out wind noise.
Mhm.
But I just use my GoPro like it's a clip-on mic.
Yeah. Then you just
And so
overlap
that way I
everything.
don't yeah, so that way I don't have to have like a clip-on mic, a shotgun mic, a
Hmm.
GoPro. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and then I just edit on a big desktop computer. You can't see it here, but I have three monitors and I have like a big computer sitting over
Yeah.
here.
I'm gonna have to pick your brain on the PC side of things because I have a 2020 MacBook that runs all my Adobe suites in DaVinci, and I don't know how much longer she's got on her,
Won't change
Lawson.
your life.
She's holding on for dear life here. But yeah, I'm gonna be upgrading to a PC soon just to have that ease of mind and obviously all the storage.
Ask me ask me any questions. I've built all my PCs.
Oh,
So
perfect. Heck yeah, that's a perfect
yeah.
question. One thing I want to ask you, do you like have journals or do you have notes where you compile shot lists for these videos, like things that you're like, you're getting ready to fall asleep and you're like, oh my gosh, an establishing shot on the hitch mount while I roll the boat to it or while I launch the boat or whatever. Like, do you have anything like that, or do you just let your ideas come to you from the muse and you put them in place when they come to you?
more of just in the moment. Like
Okay.
I have a big giant list of like literally like 300 video ideas on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't write down shot lists. But what I've developed over time is almost like rules for myself. Like it's not like a like rules. It's just almost like now they've become ingrained
Yeah.
behavior of even if I don't use them, it's like filmmaking principles of like establishing shot. So like when I pull up to the boat ramp, here's a wide angle shot of my boat at the ramp or my truck and my boat. And then it's a moving shot to establish the fact that you are in fact going you are in fact going somewhere.
Yeah.
And so it might literally be 1 second of my engine running.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually weirdly learned that from watching like sitting down and studying like really big YouTubers like Ryan Trahan, if you know who that is. Like I don't really watch his content or whatever. It's like a lot more centered towards like younger kids, but his videos get 16 million views a video or whatever, but he's a good storyteller. And some of the things that he does is that there's multiple storylines going on. There's always establishing shots and there's always context for what's going on. And I think that's really important because you know what's going on in your head, but the viewer doesn't understand what's happening. If you don't mention that, oh, I ran my boat 7 miles and we're a completely different thing, like you're kind of like doing a disservice, almost lying in a way to the
Yeah.
people who are watching.
Just a jump cut to here we
And so
are
it's
now.
so easy to just, yeah, but mentally in your brain, it helps things connect and feel more watchable.
Mm.
If you were going to run 7 miles, even if it is literally a 2 second shot of your outboard running,
Mhm.
and then when you get there, you go, I just made a 7 mile run and now we're doing this.
Mhm.
Like, and so a lot of times for me, it's like just the little like filmmaking principles of like establishing shot, moving shot, a wide angle of what I'm doing, and then I'll try to film some B roll of whatever it is. Like if I'm throwing a swim bait, I'll film some B roll like close up of my swim bait reel chugging or whatever.
Mhm.
So just things like that.
Yeah. Did you go to any secondary school or classes or anything for filmmaking, or is this all just YouTube University stuff?
YouTube University,
Yeah,
like
that's
literally,
what I
that's it.
figured. Yep. Okay.
It's
That's what I figured. I just wanted to ask because some people, I don't know, people from the outside, like guys who are strictly into fishing, they probably listen to us talk about all this stuff, and they're like, I would assume that these guys, you more so, like have some sort of education or they've taken courses or workshops or something to establish all this stuff. And I try to talk about it, but I'm glad you have mentioned it too. Like if you watch stuff and you take notes and you write down what you enjoy out of a video and the stuff that you enjoy, then you can put a pretty decent bang up video together, just implementing this stuff that really curates to your interests and stuff, and then you do it for 10 years like Lawson, and you get your own style, and you have these pillars of sorts, a checklist of what you want to do in every video, and it just kind of becomes second nature essentially.
yeah, 100%.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah,
Where can the people follow you? Instagram, YouTube, that sort of thing if they don't follow you or don't know who you are.
just type in Lawson Lindsey. I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh
On all of them. I'm basically only on Instagram and YouTube, and I guess Facebook. Facebook's literally scum of the earth. Don't even bother.
yeah, yeah, you get a lot of nice comments on you or on Facebook from
It's
personal
psychotic. It's
sites.
psychotic.
Yeah. Oh,
People need to check it out. People need to check it on their uncles and their dads because they're running wild on Facebook.
go if you guys want to laugh, go on Marshall's The Homeless Fisherman on Facebook and read some of those comments. Those will get a good belly laugh out of you majority of the time because man,
It's literally
there's some
insane.
wild guys in there. Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's literally insane. But yeah, just Lawson Lindsay on social media.
Sick. Do
Keep
you
it
have
simple.
like do you do merch or anything? You have a website that you have stuff loaded up on or do pre-orders or anything like that ever?
I mean, yeah, but I don't even care. I'm not even going to promote it.
Okay.
There's like a handful of things on there. I'm here for you. I'm here to talk to you, Adrian. Yeah, we're
Heck
just
yeah, dude.
chilling.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it, man. As always, I'll have all Lawson stuff in the show notes. You guys can go follow him, and whether or not he promotes it or not, he does have a website, which is linked, at least I know, on the Instagram account. And if you guys watch Lawson's stories, hopefully he has his email all straightened out. So if you guys have a business proposal to him, you can shoot him over an email, and it won't end up in the nether this time. Maybe he'll find it and he'll get a hold of you if you guys are looking for a brand deal or something with him. Man, I saw that on your story
Turns
the
out
other day.
nobody
I
was.
laughed.
Nobody was looking.
Oh man, a
Yeah.
typo goes a long
Yeah.
way,
I had my
guys.
email misspelled.
Happens to the best of
That's
us, man.
great, man.
Happens to the best of us. But like I said, as always, Lawson stuff will be linked in the show notes as well as that Florida Keys video that we talked about. That it sounds like Lawson had a huge, great time producing and filming and everything and putting it together. And myself as a viewer and maybe loose term critic, I very much enjoyed probably one of my favorite YouTube videos out there. But as always, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys on episode 204. See you guys.